guys, it's Miss Amanda. Some of you may know me, some of you may not, but today we'll be talking about B flat and F natural. Some of this is going to be review, mostly for cellos and violas, but it's still helpful, okay? So let's talk about B flat. For the violins, it's going to be on the A string, and this is especially for you guys because we haven't really worked with any of our low ones yet, so we're going to talk about that today. All you're going to do is you're going to place your first finger where it normally goes, right? On your A string for a normal B, and you're just going to pull it back, okay? All the way back, as far as you can go. And that's your B flat. Cellos and violas, you are going to be on your G string. Okay, and it's just going to be your low 2 for violas, for cellos, just normal second finger. Okay, so it's just like your F natural on the G string, but you're just going to hop over to the G string instead. So let's just try number 92. Let's read B flat. So I'm going to play it up in the violin octave first. So this is all going to be on your A string. So get that low 1 ready, nice and far back. 1, 2, ready, go. Good, and so now let's just do it in the lower octave for the cellos and the violas. So we're going to be doing a little bit of string crossing here, just once though, so not too bad. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. So we're going to get our second finger down on the G string. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now let's move on to number 93, rolling along. We all kind of know this already. It's, you know, Mary Had a Little Lamb from our first book, but we're starting it on a different string this time. So violins, you're going to be up on your A string, right? It's all entirely on the A string. Cellos and violas, a little bit trickier. You're going to have some string crossings in there, okay? So you're starting on your D string, but immediately hopping right over to your G string, okay? We've got some violins, we've got some low 1s with that B flat that we just talked about. Cellos, we've also got B flat on our G string, so low 2 or just 2 for cellos. Let's just try the first 2 measures, see how that goes, okay? Now I'm going to play it once up on the A string for the violins, and then I'm going to play it again on the D and G string for the cellos and violas. Feel free, if I'm not playing in your octave, I encourage you to play along anyway. It's really good practice, okay? So, first 2 measures for violins. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, and notice how far back that first finger is, okay? Really far back. Let's try it in the cello octave now, cellos and violas. Ready? So starting on our D string, okay? But be ready to switch strings right away. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. So now let's try the next two measures. I'm just going to start it up on the A string for the violins first. Now notice we have a low 2, okay? We've got all naturals except for that B flat. We've got all naturals for this song. So low 2 on the A string. Ready? And notice we're going to start up bow, okay? So we want to start kind of in the upper half, on the upper half of the bow. Ready? 3, 4. Rest, rest. Good. now cellos and violas. Now you guys are going to be on your, violas you're going to be on your third finger, cellos fourth finger. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, open. Rest. Good. Now let's keep going. We're on the second line now. First two measures of the second line, almost exactly the same as the beginning. We're just removing that rest at the end and adding another D. Okay? Let's try the first two measures. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Now the cellos and violas. Ready? 3, 4. Good. Next two measures. Now, we're going to practice the whole second line after this because getting into it, making sure we're going without stopping, okay, because we're kind of used to that rest from the first line. Okay, but let's just do the last two measures first. So violins, 3, 4. Rest, rest. Good. Cellos, cellos and violas. 3, 4. Rest, rest. Okay. Let's try the whole last line, and then we'll go through the whole thing. Ready? So from the beginning of the second line. Now I'm just going to play it this time in the upper octave, okay? So up on the A string. I think cellos and violas, you should be fine just playing along. Ready? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I think we're ready to try the whole thing. Okay, one thing I do want to point out before we try the whole thing is if you look at the very end of the first line, we have like a little comma above the rest, okay? We should know what this is already, but just as a reminder, it's a lift. So if I play that last measure, lift, just make sure we go back to the frog, okay? All right, let's try the whole thing. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. Rest. All right, so now let's move on to number 94. This one I'm only going to be able to play in the upper octave because we have some low Ds for the cellos and the violas, which is our first finger on the C string. I don't have that on this instrument, okay? So just follow along best you can. Let's just try the first two measures. So we start on that B flat again, really, really low 1 for the violins, cellos, 2. Okay, second finger. Let's give it a try. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so notice in that last measure that we did, we skip from, it's not quite the scale, we skip from our D down to our B flat, okay? Let's try the next two measures. Ready? Right where we left off. 3, 4. And we've got another lift there at the end. So we're gonna make sure once we get to the end of that dotted half note, we're gonna go back to the frog, okay? Let's try the beginning of the second line now. So the first two measures. So for this is mostly just for violins because we go to an open string, okay? So you actually don't need to lift up your fingers. You don't have to take your fingers off of the A string to go back to that open D. We've just got okay, there's no need at all to lift up your fingers, okay? Let's try it. Ready? Beginning of the second line, first two measures. 1, 2, ready, go. Good. Next two measures, pretty much the same, okay? The only difference, our last note, just notice the half note, okay? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I think we can try the whole thing now. The whole thing from the very beginning. Ready? Let's get our B flat ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift. Very nice, okay? So that's all of page 20. Let's talk about page 21 a little bit. It's pretty similar, honestly, especially for the violins, okay? So now we're talking about F natural up on the E string, okay? I'm going to start talking about the violins, cellos and violas. Just hang on for a second, okay? So just like the B flat that we just learned, we're just going to place our finger down on that F sharp, our normal F sharp that we usually play on the E string, and just pull it all the way back, okay? Then we've got F natural. Okay? All right. And then for cellos and violas, it's just your normal F natural on the D string, okay? So cellos, second finger, violas, also second finger, but your low two, okay? So make sure it's really close to your first finger. So let's read F. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so number 96, technique tracks. Let's just give the first couple of measures a try, okay? A lot of this is gonna be just scale movement, but watch out for those half notes because especially in the second measure, we skip a note, okay? So watch out for that. It's not quite a scale. Ready? Let's try just the first two measures from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did you get that? That little note skip in there? Going from the E right to the F natural, okay? Let's try the next two measures. Starting on that F natural that we just left off on. 3, 4. Good. So the beginning of the second line is very similar to the beginning of the whole song, okay? Except this time we're not skipping that note that we skipped, okay? So let's give it a try. 1, 2, 3, 4. You notice what we did? Okay, we went from A right down our scale to our G, okay? Instead of skipping the note. Let's try the last two measures now. Starting on an A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, rest. Good. Let's try the whole thing. All the way from the beginning, all the way through. 1, 2, ready, go. Nice. Okay, so the F major scale is up next. So the F major scale, if we take a look at the key signature, we have 1 flat. So that means everything else in the whole scale is going to be natural. So that B flat that we just learned, that's going to be in this scale. The F natural, okay, the one up on the E string for the violins. Cellos, you guys are actually going to be starting way down on your C string for this. You're going to be starting on your 4th finger for cellos, viola's 3rd finger, okay? So let's just give this a try. Let's just try the whole scale, okay? So violins, remember, are low 1s. Yeah, every one that we play in this scale is going to be low, okay? Just for violins. Ready? Let's try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not too bad, right? Okay. Now, let's take a look at number 98, theme from Violin Concerto. We're in the same key, so we, again, have to remember our B flats, okay? So, low 2 for violas, 2nd finger for cellos, and then low 1 for violins, okay? So, let's just try a couple of measures from the very beginning. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. All right. How about the next two measures? Okay, and this starts right on that B flat that we are talking about, okay? Let's try it. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, and violins, I would really like to see you try to do that 4th finger that they indicate there, okay? Which means, you know, things like making sure that wrist is really straight so that we can actually reach it. Because if your wrist is collapsed, we're going to have a lot of trouble reaching that 4th finger, okay? Now let's try to put the whole first line together. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, now if we take a look at the second line, we already know the first two measures. It's exactly the same as the beginning, okay? Easy. So let's just play through the first two measures again. First two measures of the second line, I'm sorry. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, so the last two measures are a little bit weirder. We've got a little bit more jumping around. It doesn't quite follow the scale. So we've got D, B flat, G, C, F, and it's a dotted half note, so 3 beats. Let's just try it. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Rest. Good. And it's these string crossings that make that measure a little bit tough. So let's just do it. Let's just try it one more time just to really make sure we have it down. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think we're ready to try the whole thing. So, I didn't talk about this much before, but I want you to notice when we're playing through this, the dynamics. So we've got mezzo forte, we've got a crescendo, so it gets a little bit bigger until we hit a forte, and then we kind of back off a little bit, okay? And this happens at the beginning and the end of both of the lines. So try to keep that in mind. Give yourself some room to get a little bit louder and then be able to pull back, okay? Let's try from the beginning, the whole entire thing. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So that's all of page 20 and 21. Really practice that F major scale because that's what's gonna help get, you know, those notes that we're not super familiar with yet into our fingers, okay? So next week we'll go on to the next couple of pages, talk about E flat and stuff, maybe a new scale, okay? Thanks for practicing with me. Bye.